Hi, I'm Luke Gilfillan. Welcome to the Lounge with Luke Gilfillan. Well, we got the new outro thing. Unfortunately, there is no new intro, as you suspected. I changed the little thing at the end because I'm sure it was getting annoying to hear about the whole mob thing or whatever. So we got 3 stories to go over today. Both pretty relevant. You know, it's kind of, I'm going to stretch the news from last week. I'm trying to get everything in, so we're not going to be doing the Russia thing today. We'll probably be doing that tomorrow, along with some other stuff. Today, we've got the story that came out yesterday. An illegal immigrant child at 7 years old unfortunately died in Border Patrol custody. I didn't really want to do this story, but there are a lot of misconceptions around this that I've noticed around that. And then a Texas judge struck down Obamacare because of something else. We'll get into that story. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is bragging about arrests, maybe? Okay, so let's start it off. I just clicked on something. That is not good. Alrighty, I fixed it. First off, the 7-year-old girl who died at the border. I just want to clear up what exactly happened. So, a group of 163 people crossing the border illegally were detained. She was one of them. They had to transport them to another border security place, so they sent 2 buses to pick them up because it's such a large group of people. The girl who unfortunately died, she was on the second bus. So her dad, when they were initially captured, signed a form that said the girl was showing no signs of trauma or distress. However, she was, because she was severely dehydrated during the journey. However, Border Patrol did not know that at the time. Hours later, while they were on the bus, she started vomiting, and then she stopped breathing, causing medics on the bus to revive her, and then she was airlifted by a helicopter to a hospital in El Paso, Texas. She died at the hospital despite desperate efforts to save her life. Now, a lot of people have used this to show flaws in the Border Patrol system and to blame Border Patrol for this. However, I really don't see... The girl was severely dehydrated going into it, and despite the efforts of Border Patrol to save her, they couldn't, and I don't think there was anything that Border Patrol did wrong. Honestly, I feel bad for the dad. He's got to be feeling really bad right now. But it just, I don't know. I just wanted to clear things up for there. Now we go into Texas judge struck down Obamacare as unconstitutional. So I'm generally not in favor of a federal judge shutting down the entire government, but I don't know. So a federal judge in Texas struck down the entire Affordable Care Act on Friday on the grounds that its mandate requiring people to buy health insurance is unconstitutional and the rest of the law cannot stand without it. Obamacare, if you don't have health insurance, it'll require you to pay a fee, which has been the basis for many, many lawsuits on it. And however, that fee was taken out of the Affordable Care Act during the tax cuts that the GOP made like a year ago. And so that fee was reduced to $0.00. However, it was not gotten rid of. So the lawsuit is basically on that fee. It says that the rest of the thing can't stand without that fee. And the ruling was filed this year. Judge Reed O'Connor of the Federal District Court in Fort Worth, which is in Texas, said that the individual mandate requiring people to have health insurance can no longer be sustained as an exercise of Congress's tax power. Accordingly, Judge O'Connor, a George W. Bush appointee, said that the individual mandate is unconstitutional and the remaining provisions of the Affordable Care Act are invalid. This is all according to the New York Times. Normally I would use CNN for alternative things, but I kind of switched because it's impossible to navigate CNN's website. It's so broken. They have a million videos that play automatically. New York Times, well, I think it's a lot more biased than CNN in the reporting. I do think it's an easier website to navigate, and if you look on certain pages, it's easier to... Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who you may remember from beating out Joe Crowley, who was one of the most powerful Democrats in the House, I believe. Yeah, House. Yeah, because she's a House candidate. She is organizing this thing called the Green New Deal, which is like, you recognize the words New Deal in there, and it's sort of supposed to be like this big restructuring of government. On her campaign, she was advocating for, in her words, a effort in terms of to combat climate change, similar to the efforts that were made during World War II, like collecting tin cans and scrap metal to make like tanks and all that. So, which her proposal is, I am not exactly sure what the details of the proposal, but it's going to cost a lot, and yeah. So she and Sunrise Movement, which is a like a progressive group, she says that they protested in Congress to demand a committee on the Green New Deal that she has proposed. And in this tweet, which I'll put up on the screen if you want to look at it, there's a screenshot from Twitter. Yesterday at Sunrise Movement flooded Congress to demand our select committee on a hashtag Green New Deal. 1,000 youth next to a green question mark. 30 arrests next to a green question mark. 8 new co-sponsors repping next to a green question mark. 5.6 million Americans next to a green question mark. In one day next to a green question mark. Yes, in one day, 1,000 activists impacted 5.6 million Americans. So you may notice that something is out of the ordinary in that tweet, which is 30 arrests next to a green question mark. Generally, I don't think getting arrested because you're protesting is a good thing, nor do I think it spreads your message well at all. She later posted a tweet that said, "Update, it's now 140 arrests," which I don't think if you were advocating for something, you would point out the acts of some of your supporters that are doing things that would get them arrested. Maybe it's, yeah, that's just a crazy story. I'm not sure exactly what the context was. I wasn't able to reaffirm it. I couldn't find any other tweets that was like, I don't know. I just don't think that was something that would happen. Okay, so we have extra time, so I might talk about something else. So YouTube, they uploaded this thing every year called YouTube Rewind. This year, YouTube Rewind 2018, it became the most disliked video on YouTube ever. On their own platform, YouTube has the most dislikes ever. I do think, and there's similar things with companies ignoring their customers because they want to throw other things in. So during the whole YouTube Rewind, I could say, so there's this one channel, his name is PewDiePie. You may have heard of him. He has 76 million subscribers. He's the most popular channel on YouTube. He was not included in YouTube Rewind. He wasn't included last year. I'm pretty sure not the year before. he is the most popular YouTuber. He had some controversy in the past because everyone's go after him. There's like a news article every week written about him in a negative way. Um, it's so other context. There's this Indian channel called T Series. They're this corporation that publishes Bollywood music videos and all that, and they currently have 75 million subscribers. So there's this big like war, PewDiePie versus T Series, which is probably the biggest thing on YouTube this year. No mention of that. It was basically just makeup YouTubers talking about single mothers, and it was unnecessary. And they really could have done better. They included a million irrelevant people. I'd recognize maybe like 3 YouTubers, and I know a lot of YouTubers. And that whole thing, like there was this Ninja who was like this popular person among 5-year-olds, and Markiplier, who I don't even watch. He just is there. And then yeah, that was and then there was a guy from SNL, which he's not a YouTuber, but I recognized him. And another example of corporations ignoring their customers, EA, who released this game called Battlefield 5, which is supposed to be a World War II kind of historical game and all that. They have other titles in this series. They had Battlefield 1, which was supposed to be after World War I. They have Battlefield 4, which is World War III, so it's not really a historical thing. Battlefield 1 did a really good job in terms of being historically accurate, but Battlefield 5 was probably the worst installment in the series ever. So, basically the big controversy around this is females with prosthetic arms on the front lines of World War II. So, for some reason, EA has to... They're bragging about how inclusive they are with putting women with prosthetic robotic arms on the front lines of World War II, which makes no sense at all. They're getting a lot of complaints because of this, and because if you can show me a female with a robotic arm serving on the lines of World War II, I'd be happy. But that's never happened, or it never happened. And then, so in response to criticism, during one of their parties for EA executives, they put this thing on the screen. You can see in the corner, this was them mocking their own customers. This is I thought it was Photoshop, but this is real. It says, white men, white men, white men, in the top left, if you can't see that. This is supposed to be mocking the people, that criticized putting, it says, feminazis are trying to rewrite history. Genderfield 51. What the frick were the developers thinking? Did my grandmother with a robotic arm serve at the Battle of Normandy? And these are valid complaints. You can't rewrite a historical game to include whatever you want. So it's not... I don't think it's great to hear a high-pitched scream for backup for someone with a prosthetic arm coming in front of you. It just destroys the entire experience of the game. It really does. I just wanted to complain about that, because we were at 8 minutes a while ago. Now we're at 15 minutes, which is a lot. I apologize, I delayed you from hearing the best part of this podcast, the new outro, so here it is. Thanks so much for listening. The Lounge with Luke Gilfillan comes out every Saturday and Sunday. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you would be interested in getting notified every time a video comes out, hit the gray bell right next to the subscribe button. Credits, sources, and errors are in the description. If you find an error that I missed, please put it in the comments section. If you are interested in donating to my channel, because I bought recording equipment, which kind of costed a lot, my Patreon, which is a donation site, is in the description. If you have any feedback, put it in the comments section. Toodaloo.